listeners, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 2 of the On a Whim podcast. At some point, I'm going to rename the numbering system, but right now, I just going to go with the flow and see what happens.
It's episode 164, part 3.
Go. I'm Paul.
You mean renaming it to like something with an actual title, right? Like, like the 3 topics maybe that we talk about being the headliners. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, numbers are an old concept, Paul. Get with the times. Come on.
Yeah, a lot of podcasts
What
I've
year is it
seen.
again?
It's 2022.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Or
2020 part 2.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of podcasts actually have that naming convention where like they name like funny parts of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Or the different topics in the episode.
Or the signature line
Yeah.
of the episode. There was
Yeah.
a podcast that I watched that used to do that. But
Yeah, I was part of that podcast.
Fortunately, they're not around anymore.
They're in an indefinite hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. It was too bad. Anyways, I'm Paul.
I'm Grover.
Yeah, I'm Jabari.
And it's good to have you boys back. You know, we had a great first episode. Hope our listeners...
which was recorded, about a week ago?
Yeah, listeners would have heard about a week ago. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is episode 2.
Yeah, it's been a fun week. What did you do the last week, Paul?
Oh, you know, I try to get some sleep.
Yeah.
But you know, how simple that can go sometimes, right?
Yeah, Jabari, it's been a week since we last recorded. What did you do in that time frame?
I did not sleep at all. I stayed up the whole time. I just been working.
Yeah, well, hey, at least you're honest.
Hey, the funny thing about that Grover mentioned it is I have one time the dog woke me up at like 2 a.m, and I woke up to like a wall of text from Jabari on Slack.
Yeah,
and I took a look at it, and I'm like, and I just I scanned through it. I'm like,
it's gonna be that kind of night, is it?
And I scanned through it, and I don't see any, like my brain and then sleep deprived, waiting for the dog to finish doing whatever it had to do outside.
And then use the restroom.
And I look at it, I scan it, and there's like nothing life altering for me. Like, all right, I can go back to sleep, and I'll ignore it till morning.
Yeah.
So, Jabari, I promise I read all your Wallow textos eventually.
Oh, I'll get up, answer it, and go back to sleep.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. I envy that about Grover. Is he'd go from like full on, ready to go, to flat 0 sleep. 8 minutes. And the only reason I say it is because I've seen it live. Yeah. Jabari, you might have seen it live too. We've shared hotel rooms with Grover, you know.
Yeah. When me and Jabs were in San Francisco for GDC.
The time he scared himself in the mirror in the bathroom?
Yeah. I woke up the whole hotel room. And they were just both laughing. What happened? I saw myself in the mirror. And I'm glad the mirror didn't crack, but you know.
It's like the reason why Grover doesn't listen to himself on a podcast record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want my ears to burst either.
Yeah,
my eyes are
imagine how I feel when I hear my echo when you play video games.
Yeah.
Just to let you guys know.
You're listening to me on a daily basis.
Dear God.
Yeah, just to let you go. When I message you guys on that chat, you guys don't have to respond as soon as possible. I'll just wait when you guys are ready to respond. I mean, I just have
I say it with love. I say it with love, Jabari. Like, I'll scan it, and I know I don't have to respond. I want to, because if it's something you need an answer on, I want to be able to provide that answer. But then I'll scan it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna wait, and I'm back asleep. Right?
Yeah.
So don't feel like you're not. If the creative juices are flowing, let them flow at dark 30. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
And I'll let them flow for a good 5 minutes
then write the post
before I go. Then write the post.
You guys can tell when I'm like, I'm up thinking about Whim and Mindy stuff. I just go. But if I ever need like an answer like right away, I will literally, I'll call you guys or send you a text. I hate calling people. I hate sending texts.
I'm a little worried because I've never received a call from you.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
And it's kind of like when you call me.
Oh.
It's like, God, what is on fire? No,
hello, Paul,
listener. No shit. No, really. There is a phrase that Grover uses that immediately takes my heart to like DEFCON 1. Like, and it's, hi, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Paul. How are you today? And first you say, Grover, it's 2 p.m. And then you answer with the actual, like, oh no, what's on fire? Because I'll say good morning no matter what time it is.
It's that phrase. It's like, I'm the Manchurian candidate, and this is like my activation phrase, right?
No, I'm Pavlov, and you're the drooling
And then
dog.
this is Drew. Except it's not Drew, it's Tears.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. But it's my activation phrase. Very Pavlovian Manchurian candidate
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. Speaking of movies, have you guys seen the movie Ready Player One?
I have not.
Me either.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring up Ready Player One, I liked it. It was a very pop culture nerd.
Where can you watch it?
movie.
Netflix or
I'm assuming it's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Or you can rent it on YouTube for like $1.99 or
okay.
one of those deals, right?
Yeah.
It's I like it because as a nerd, I like things that laugh with me at nerd things.
Oh,
right?
not like Maya Bialik on The Big Bang Theory
Exactly.
or Jeopardy.
Especially.
I hope that'll
age well, right? Yeah.
Unless by the time this airs, she's the actual host of the full.
Is she still a guest co-host?
She's host of the primetime specials, and she's rotating with Ken Jennings. But everybody wants Ken Jennings,
Right?
So-
The champion of champions,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But Ken Jennings actually cares about the game, right? And like if the contestants get it wrong, kind of like what you were saying, like he'll laugh with them, not at them.
Right.
Whereas it feels like Maya Bialik is like laughing at them.
Yeah.
you
For
know?
their inferior brain that,
Like-
you know.
Because she's an actual neuroscientist.
Right.
Who
Exactly.
sells brain pills.
Oh my gosh.
Leave that pause in there, Shadow, right? That's something I forgot to do. I forgot to give Shadow a shout out
Oh,
in the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
So I might have to go back and fix it in post.
They do so much cutting of this. Thank you.
So much dead air. Anyway.
Dead air and cutting of things that shouldn't be there.
Grover shouldn't have said, or Paul shouldn't have said.
Things I shouldn't have said last week.
Jabari probably is the only one that has gone unscathed so far on the cutting room floor. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Jabari's keeping his nose clean.
Well, he never goes to sleep, right? So, he has a clear head of what's going on. The past 7 days we've been recording, he's just been perfect.
Yeah, flawless victory.
Flawless victory.
So the reason I bring up Ready Player One and nerd culture, right, is because the advent of the metaverse in pop culture, right? And it all pretty much kicked off when Facebook and the reptilian known as Mark Zuckerberg changed.
Okay.
He's the reptilian. Okay, go for it.
I thought he was like Dr. Evil with hair, you know.
No. Did you see him being interviewed by the Senate and just his expressionless face? He didn't blink.
I saw the same thing, but they were all like on a round table with like emojis or something, like 3D emojis explaining things. And they were moving their hands in like this like animated way. I was like, people don't talk like that.
Well, they're probably reptilians too.
Yeah.
Who, like, have been here.
This is what a human does. Okay.
Are you?
And then I'm moving my hands like I did last episode. I'm moving my hands like a crazy motion. I know you can't see it, but just imagine like you're just waving your hands wildly in the air while you're talking about random nonsense. That's how a tech person talks, you know.
A tech human.
Yeah. They think they're human, but they're not.
Oh
They're
my God.
reptilians.
So okay, I've never seen an interview with Mark Zuckerberg or like
So
I see
if
pictures.
you look back,
But
yeah.
I've watched South Park and they made fun of him and he was just
Right.
robotic or something like that. I didn't really understand.
Oh, yeah.
But
very,
I laughed.
very.
But now you guys
It's
telling
not-
me this interviews and stuff like that, and now I'm just like, oh,
No,
okay.
It's not just Mark Zuckerberg though. It's like watch people go on stage on E3, right? Business people go on stage at E3, right?
But they're not business people. They're the devs.
Well, not always. Not always. If it's like your big corporations and stuff, Nintendo stopped doing this, right?
Right.
They rather do directs because it feels more, well, should I say direct? But
They will bring the news directly
directed
to you.
And Nintendo was very passionate about it. They would have their devs and they would have their lead engineers. But I mean, at the beginning, like when I was giving in the last episode that we recorded a week ago, I was talking about Xbox, and I was talking about when I used to give them a lot of crap, right? But these people would go on stage in suits, and they would just give these buzzwords and wave their hands around in the air like they're talking this nonsense.
What's the name of the guy that tried to campaign for presidency? And like he was flailing around and like, well, go to Michigan and Minnesota and
keep talking. I'm gonna look that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jabari, look up Facebook Senate hearings from like maybe a couple years ago, or maybe even longer than that. I think right before Facebook went public. So this is what 2012, 2013, something around that time. And you can find it plain as day. It's on C-SPAN. It's comedy. Anyways. Ready Player One. Go ahead.
Howard Dean. In 2004. We're going to go to Texas, then Washington, then Michigan, then California, and then we're going to go to Washington, D.C. and take back the White House. Blah!
Back in the day, when one over-passionate, oversharing moment was enough to derail a candidate.
Yeah.
And now you can not even make it downstairs.
Yeah, poor Howard Dean.
Poor rip Howard Dean. Anyways, the reason why I bring up Ready Player One.
That screen messed me up, man. There's a Wikipedia entry, Dean Scream. The Dean Scream is a speech delivered by Howard Dean on January 19, 2001 in West Des Moines, Iowa. Wow.
Mid of nowhere. Anyways,
I'm so sorry.
Unless you're a listener from Iowa, then you're not in the middle of nowhere. Love to you. So Ready Player One is a kind of a dystopian future where like everyone's like outlet and how they make money, how they interact with people is all through what we're calling the metaverse. Everything is online. You know, your bank accounts, your life savings, everything exists in this free, not free to play. You can use real money and real currency, like kind of like a GTA Online kind of way, right? You can buy their money with real money, right? Or Nintendo dollars or whatever the hell they're called, right?
Gold, Nintendo gold coins, I think. Yeah.
Nintendo gold coins, right? Mm-hmm. And in this metaverse, whatever you wager, just like anything else, you lose, but it's related to your real money. So if in the exposition part in the beginning of the movie, it shows, some people are willing, once they die in the metaverse, they're willing to die in real life, to like go and try to commit, suicide by jumping off,
oh my,
whatever, right? And it's in the movie, like it's, you can watch it plain as day. So, forgiveness for any trigger warnings out there, whatever. But the fact that I'm bringing it up now is because with Facebook and the reptilian Elon Musk not Elon Musk. That's another one. Freudian slip.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. Sorry, another one we're gonna eat eventually. When he changed the name from Facebook to Meta, it kicked off all these different things that relate to the metaverse, right? This just existence online, and people started making connections on like even cryptocurrency and things on the blockchain, and what Grover mentioned about NFTs in the last week's episode, right?
That
we recorded last week, right?
Ago, yeah.
And all these things, and people were making predictions on how this metaverse was going to come to life. And the fact that I love Ready Player One, pardon the the play on words, is I am not ready for like a completely online only world, right? Like
you're too late for that, my friend.
So I like going onto GT Online, right?
Sure.
And doing what we do. Me and Grover had up a convenience store for like 12 in-game hours.
Yeah.
And had a blast. Had a blast with my former the other podcast with he goes by Bowden, Brian. If you're listening, shouts out. and we just had a blast, right? And
literally a blast. We were blasting cars and
and the fact that in this universe I can do that, but when I'm done with it, there are no real life implications.
Other than you're like asleep for the next morning.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
I turn off the computer and I crawl into my whatever bed that is over there.
And after you're done crying.
And then after I'm done crying, I go
to sleep.
Yeah. And whereas Ready Player One in this metaverse, it all had real life implications. And what you did online, in this essentially this, the Matrix almost, right?
Yeah.
Had, whatever you did could apply to the real life, right? Mm-hmm. So as much as I love Ready Player One, I'm not ready for that to translate into us, right?
Yeah.
So where, for example, right, like Jabari, you're a manager, so you would have to log into this platform to go and virtually manage other people who are also working remotely in their capacity in retail, right? So you're all working on a online shop, but you're all logging in to do it. So
that's been my day job.
Yeah, I was about to say Grover's living that right now.
I have not seen a coworker, like studio people I've seen, but for my day job, I have not seen a coworker in 2 years.
No, but you're not putting on VR glasses
yet.
And I know what you. Yeah.
Stop it. Yeah, you're not logging in and like walking around a virtual office.
Sure.
To sit down to watch, corporate training 101, how to.
Nope, I just join a Teams meeting or a Zoom call for 2 hours.
And do the same thing.
And have my avatar at work is my Celotria character that Nico drew for me. Mm-hmm. So it just shows me smiling. And it's like, oh, Grover looks really happy today. I'm not happy. I'm half awake. But, it works out that way.
And I think the way, like, in my head is, remember when the Xbox 360 had the little chibi show up?
I think Nintendo copied that with the Mii's, right?
Yeah, with the Mii's. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Microsoft did it first.
Yeah,
shouts out to Big M Microsoft, our tech overlords, right?
I feel like we've praised them for 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah, last week.
We seem to be praising them every week.
Last week, yeah. I'll find a way to do it again next week.
Sure.
So I'm going to start with you, Jabari, right? I completely understand buying billboard space, right? Advertisers.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to banners and things like that. But then you can buy like property in the metaverse. And I'm like, well, hold up, wait a minute.
Here we go again.
Here we go. And Grover kind of alluded to it in the episode the last episode that it's like the .com bubble. Mm-hmm. Right. And I've heard a lot of comparisons, right, to that. So Jabari, what do you think? Is this just like a scam, or is it going to be like companies are going to invest real money for advertising space? Or, I remember the time I heard about Sweden having like an online consulate on the metaverse. Like it was like mind blowing to me. But anyway, I'll start with you, Jabari. What are your thoughts?
The funny thing about this whole thing is that I just watched a movie the other day called Belle, and it's all about the metaverse. Basically, you're online and you're living a new life, basically, and millions of people within this new world or this digital world, or they basically created a new them, and living that life within that world. And I kind of find that super interesting, and that's probably why a lot of movies are doing that now too, because you can log into a computer and build a whole new life digitally within you. So everything that applies to you now, you could be a loser from, I don't know, Ohio or something like that with nothing but
Highland, California.
Yeah. But in this new world, you could be
not sure if that was a burn at me or Jabari.
¿Por qué no los dos?
But like in this new world, you could be like a digital sensation, like a singer or stuff like that. Like the movie is all about like a singer or somebody nobody knows from the country that goes into this to the metaverse and they become like like the top hit pop singer or whatever of the world and stuff like that, and everybody adores them. But when they find out who they really are, then it's just like, oh, they're just this normal person. So the metaverse, that whole thing is just really interesting. I feel like it is possible for something like that to happen, like a Facebook of the metaverse or something like that, and where people are like, essentially they're truly living a life within this digital universe, and working, because it can happen. I mean, we're all digitally working a lot remotely, or Grover is essentially right now, but like it can work out.
I've not seen an office in almost a year,
and you don't want that to change.
If enough people are within this universe, then definitely advertisers are going to go into that universe and try their best to utilize that as much as possible. So it could be billboards that they walk through virtually, putting on your VR headset, songs, like if you go to a cafe to chat with people within this universe, you can't really drink anything in real life, but you can go to places to chat with people and stuff like that, playing music or advertisements happening on the virtual TVs within it. It could totally work. It could be its own thing. It'll be crazy as hell, but if people it all depends on how people seriously take that new universe. So it could happen. We could probably see it soon, within the next 5 years, 10 years. Yeah, I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, there was the game developer Carnival, where you virtually log into to this gaming conference, basically, and you're just walking around and talking with other people, like
E3 tried to do that last year.
Oh, it really? I mean, shoot, it could work.
Yeah.
But it was there was not a lot of effort put into it.
Yep. There was when the school counseling conference was virtual only, they tried doing the same thing where it looked like a giant hallway, and you would click on different parts, and it would take you to like that session.
But it's just half. And I'm like, half-hearted.
Oh, you tried so hard.
Yeah. But I want to build off of what you were saying, Jabari, if you don't mind. I feel like this already kind of been done, right? 2 games, Animal Crossing New Horizons. People, when people were locked down and they couldn't go anywhere, they went on their Switch and started building islands and visiting their friends and stuff, and because they couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Final Fantasy 14, right? There's in-game concerts that people have, all the bards, you can pull out different instruments, and every time I'm walking through town, I would hear like they'll play like Journey's "Don't Stop Believing" using bard instruments.
Oh, that takes talent.
But they have automated software that you can use like you can attach a keyboard as a controller, and they would record it in macro abilities, and then they would just play the macro in game and then sync up with other musicians. And there's like rows of like 16, 17 players doing full-blown concerts in town, and they're still doing it even after the pandemic started. But it helps that a lot of people are leaving Activision Blizzard, they're leaving World of Warcraft, and they're coming into this game, and they're being greeted by in-game performances and in-game concerts, and they feel like they're living and working and playing and adventuring around in this persistent online world with hundreds of thousands of characters, right? So I feel like it's already kind of happening. It's not happening in terms of like the workspace yet, but it is definitely happening in the gaming space for sure.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time before it's like, who's going to be the big company or the company that creates that official universe where everybody will pop in. And
Meta.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so
Meta's already doing it. They're trying to.
I mean, okay, so speaking of Meta, right? This week they had their stock earnings announcement, right? Every publicly traded company quarterly has to announce how they did the previous fiscal quarter.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw this or heard about this, But Facebook reported some, like they missed their expected earnings by quite a sum.
You know the streamer Amaranth?
Yes.
Yeah, she had stock in Meta, and it was headlines like Amaranth, big streamer, loses, all this stock, and then she did one of those hot tub streams to make up all the money she lost in Facebook
and she
stock.
made all that money back.
Oh yeah. And then she bought a gas station with it or something, or whatever she's buying now.
Hey, she's using what
you
go,
what,
girl. You
say what you want about ASMR and that kind of ethics and whatever on Twitch, but she is a very smart businesswoman. She knows her clientele. She knows the people who watch her.
Yep.
And she uses that money and puts it to things that are gonna exist
income.
way past when she's done with making money off of Twitch. So.
Amaranth.
Oh, I follow her too.
For research?
You mean she always does the hot tub stuff, right?
She always appears on my like news feeds for like Twitch news and tech news when like she loses a lot of money or she buys a gas station or she does this, that, or the other thing.
To the surprise of nobody listening, the Jabari follows. I like, as soon as he said that, I'm like,
well, Grover's doing it too.
No, I don't know.
What?
I don't follow her. I only follow 3 people on Twitch, and I think I'm friends with all of them. Yeah, I'm friends with all of them. It's all right. So when it comes to people like this, right, in this Facebook share earnings, just the biggest collapse in market capitalization, like $200 billion gone into the ether, right? Yeah. So it leads me to believe that Facebook is not built for this. And they tried with renaming the company Meta, and they try to be Alphabet, right, with Google and YouTube and all that.
Google is very hit or miss. Like sometimes they'll strike gold, well, no, and then other times you have was it Google Plus or Google Stadia
or the dislike button
or the dislike button.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that because Facebook is failing to keep up with my our Gen Zer, our Zoomers, and our Alpha people, right?
Yeah.
And the TikTok, the 5-second. I know Facebook tried doing Reels, but the fact.
Oh yeah, the small little TikTok like videos, yeah.
Which now YouTube has Shorts, right? Whatever.
Yeah, they're going up against TikTok.
TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. So with big tech, the feelings that whatever your political inclinations are on big tech and censorship, right? The fact that people are leaving Facebook and seeking alternatives, right? Mm-hmm. They're leaving YouTube seeking alternatives. They want something. They don't want to, there's no more monopoly anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been done. We can figure it out. We can do it better, right? Yeah. And they're like, you know what? I'll try to do it better, right? So at least I appreciate people for that. But for the fact of the matter is, Facebook isn't cutting it. And them losing $200 billion in the span of 24 hours, I think is indicative that they're not the company to do this in the future.
Do you think Mark Zuckerberg's going to go the way of Tom Anderson? Do you remember who Tom Anderson is?
My first friend on MySpace?
Oh, yeah.
He's probably still there.
No, he's gone on record saying, MySpace, I don't even use that anymore. Here's my Facebook account.
Yeah.
So he ran off with his money. He is living his best life. And I don't blame him for that.
I don't blame him either. Yahoo bought MySpace, right? Is that who ended up with it?
Holding
the bag.
What's his name? What was his name from NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? That's one of them.
Trying to have it his way.
Yeah, he bought it for a while.
Okay.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm trying to figure out so anyways, Mint Mobile's owned by Ryan Reynolds and another.
Oh yeah.
But he's the face of it, kind of. I figure it's one of those kind of things.
No. Or I don't know who owns MySpace.
Anyways, the fact that Facebook took on this loss leads me to gives credibility to what Grover was saying in last week's episode, we recorded last week. That
I'm gonna say something about that.
I think the company that's gonna do this and do it not just for one game, like you were saying, in Final Fantasy or Sea of Thieves or GTA Online or whatever company is going to do this does not exist yet.
Yeah.
In a way we think of it, right?
Yep, exactly.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Jabari Grover.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on the metaverse, and is it going to be like a .com? The metaverse as we know it right now, right? Mm-hmm. It's like Dreamland and all these other like ways to access it. Is it just a thing it's like the NFTs? Is it just a hype, or is it going to die down and just .com bubble?
I don't think it's going to be the Dreamland that you're thinking. I think it's actually going to be used for a lot of malicious intent. Mm-hmm. Because what do people use? 4chan, 8chan, and
the dark corners of Reddit.
What's the name of that? Parlor, right? They were all things that like, oh, this is a place where you can talk about how you really feel, and this is how a place, but people don't want to talk about how they really feel on the internet, right? They want to put their best foot forward. Most people. On your face. Well, maybe not Facebook, but how do I phrase this? If people are gonna talk bad about each other, they like to do it anonymously. Mm-hmm. But on Facebook, it kind of minimizes that. So when I'm saying something, I'm saying it as my real name, right? Grover, blah blah blah, or Paul, blah blah blah, right? And it comes out on like Herman Cain awards or whatever, where he says, oh, this person was being a douche on Facebook, and they're saying all this anti-science stuff, right?
Bye job.
Or they're dead. They're literally they die.
Oh yeah, Herman Cain Award. Yeah. There's award nominees and award recipients.
Yeah. Jabari, do you know what Herman Cain Award is?
No.
Okay, do you know who Herman Cain is?
No.
Okay, so Herman Cain was a politician. The keyword was heavy Trump supporter, heavy Republican, anti-science, went to a Trump rally in 2020 without a mask, was proud of saying he wasn't masked, got COVID, died, right? He was a presidential candidate and everything. And his family, even after he died of COVID, his family continued to post on his account, downplaying the COVID and spewing out anti-science and anti-vaccine information, right? So a lot of people were fed up, like, why aren't you getting vaxxed? Why aren't you doing this? They made this subreddit called the Herman Cain Awards, where they take people who are sick or are dying of COVID. It could be malicious, but sick or dying of COVID that have said like anti-science, anti-vax statements, and they're saying, this is an example of somebody who's died of this. Get vaccinated, right?
Please.
Please. A lot of people say, this is why are you preying on people who are dying or are dead? But it's more of a statement like, this is a real thing. People are saying these anti-science, anti-things, and they're using the internet or this internet space to talk about all these negative views. And to tie it into your original question, I feel like a lot of people who have these crazy, wacky views on society and can't find anybody near them may go into the metaverse to find people that are like them that may not live next door or whatnot, and create this negative echo chamber, this negative space that'll spiral out of control.
And so enter corporate tech censorship.
I hope
right?
This isn't true, please. I don't want this podcast to be referenced in 20 years and like Grover was right. Please, I want to be wrong. I don't need this.
I think you are already correct. These places already exist on the internet.
Yeah, they're just not. I can't walk around them.
Yeah, 4chan, 8chan, even Reddit, Parlor.
Well, Reddit's taken steps to.
Well, but then enter corporate quote unquote censorship, right?
Yeah.
Where now you any attempts to curtail these people from just feeding each other this vitriol and this negativity and
and anonymously
nonetheless. I mean, you're only anonymous as you want to be on the internet, right?
That's true. I use my real name in Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Grover Iveen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a play on your name. I thoroughly enjoy the backstory on that name.
Yeah.
But the fact that, and they perceive that as validation that they are correct. It's I know something you don't know, right? In that typical.
But the joke is they don't know anything.
But the joke is they're the ones being bamboozled.
Yeah.
And they're the ones taken advantage of.
Yeah.
For all they're worth.
And Herman Cain Award is like, some people see it as like, oh, they're making fun of it, but I see it as a cautionary tale of what happens when you fall for too much anti-science or not really doing critical thinking. So
teaching kids critical thinking.
Yeah.
I know people joke all the time that you're indoctrinating children. And I'm like, if I could do that, I'd teach them critical thinking skills.
Yeah, there you go.
I do the opposite of indoctrinating them. I don't want to indoctrinate children.
No, that's the opposite of critical thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go well. So in conclusion, the metaverse, good for advertisers and people, malicious people.
People who might take advantage of it to do bad things that'll ruin our already bad situation.
Right.
In my opinion.
Make toxic even more toxic.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
But someone's gonna make money.
That's always gonna happen.
So then the question is it moral to make money on it? And the only reason I say that, right, as someone who is invested in companies, right?
Yeah.
Is it moral, and I'm gonna ask you both this question, to invest in these companies who are gonna capitalize on this stuff? Like, for example, right? Trump's Truth Social thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna join the stock market using a special purpose acquisition company, or a SPAC, called DWAC, right?
Okay.
That's the ticker symbol, DWAC, right? So
why do they come up with the worst names for this stuff? Like when Trump and Pence, they were running. Did you see their original campaign thing? It was a T going inside of the loop of the P in Pence.
Oh, they knew exactly.
And it looked like Trump was.
Oh, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
But jokes
I was no Christian values.
Well, it is Trump.
By somebody who cheated on his wife 3 times and had all these affairs, right?
Exactly.
Christian values.
Strong Christian overtones.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
sorry.
So this Donald Trump company, right? DWAC.
Yeah.
If someone invests in it, right, makes money on this company,
mm-hmm.
and then takes their money out after the dust settles, right?
Yeah.
And they just rode up on the hype train.
Yeah.
Is that immoral or shady or unethical or?
Jabari, you want to take a whack at this first?
I'm sorry, I got distracted by this girl on Twitch.
By Korean.
I need to sign off.
By Amaranth?
No, somebody else.
Jabari's.
We lost him.
Jabari went into the rabbit hole of ASMRs. No.
I did, because when you said that, I was just like, what are you talking about?
Well, who's Amaranth? Oh, I will look them up. Oh, wow. Oh.
And we never heard of Jabari again.
But there's another one.
Meanwhile, Paul's talking about the importance of investing in these companies and the future growth of this.
I'm investing in this company.
Jabari's like, oh, is she gonna buy a 7-Eleven next?
Should I buy 7-Eleven stock?
This is crazy. They have this girl in short shorts over here licking a ear. I guess there's a microphone in it for the SMR, and I have never seen this happen. It's fucking hot, but I'm thinking this girl is probably like as young as my sister. So I looked at my sister's Instagram. I'm just like, you better not be doing that.
So it's safe to say Jabari's not going to invest in the metaverse. He's going to invest in ASMR products.
No.
Well, it's like that woman that sold her farts in jars.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
No, and it's the fact that I had to take it to that level, right?
Yeah.
This young entrepreneur was selling her flatulence to a very select group of individuals, right? Yeah. And then because she had to produce this flatulence, she actually got physically sick.
Oh
and it was actually in the hospital with gastritis. Which I know is going to sound like a very bad play on words, but it's an infection of the lining in her stomach.
Yeah. Stomach bug.
Yeah. Yeah. So because she was ingesting all these high fibrous foods to produce her product.
Yeah. So see, in the metaverse, you can't smell, right? That's unless
yes,
they have,
thankfully,
unless they have VR things where you can smell, right? So that's one thing. I'm trying my best, Paul. I'm trying my best.
There's a lot of people on the internet that I don't want to smell. Yeah. Like I can only remember that Family Guy episode where Peter's like some pop star like Christina Aguilera or whatever.
Yeah.
And he comes out like, you are offensive to all five senses. and Peter, and she's like, even taste? So you know how something get in your palate?
Yeah.
And get up in there and like, you smell like sweaty garbage. And then she's
or
like,
just drive through Baker, California.
Sweaty garbage. No, or Phoenix.
Yeah, it smells so bad.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I can taste it.
If you've driven back from Las Vegas to Southern California, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Jabari doesn't know that because he'll drive back at like Mach 2.
It doesn't matter what day. I drive back at 3 a.m. That
no, not that time. Speed. Oh, like I think Jabari's going so fast that like.
What was that? That was Barstow.
No, I smell bakery each time I go by there.
Yeah, it's the worst smelling town in Southern California. I swear,
man.
Oh.
And then we get to Vegas, and then open tours.
Just thinking of it. Oh,
just remember, y'all, put on that recirculating.
I had to stop breathing for like 3 minutes. But the point is, yeah, with the metaverse, would I invest in it just to make a quick buck? Yeah, I'm an opportunistic. I'm an opportunistic bastard.
I knew there was a capitalist in there somewhere.
Yeah, and if but it would really have to stand out to me, right? Because I'm all for being schooled at virtually, and I'm all for working virtually.
Sure.
And I'd have to see what company can do it in a way that's not Zuckerberg waving his hands like a reptilian robot, or I want it to be done in a way that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. If it's just there just to be there, I'm not going to use it, right?
Right.
I prefer to join meetings and calls with my camera off, and preferably with my microphone off.
Still wearing pants though, hopefully.
Yeah. Just probably wearing the same thing I've worn for the past 20 years. But I'd invest in it to make a quick buck.
How about you, Jabari? Would you invest in something for a quick buck, even though it could be shady AF?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I have morals. It all depends what it is. If I invest in something, that means I believe in it. I trust that there's nothing shady going on. But once, if something shady go on, then yeah. I mean, if you're saying, oh, would you invest in this even though it's super shady? Of course not. I don't trust that. But
so full disclosure, I made some money when that Trump thing when it came out. That company, and I think I made at least. I made over $100. I'll say that.
It's one of those things like I'll put money into this. I don't believe in it. I'll put money into this.
Similar to what Jabari said, I have morals. I don't want this man to be in power at all. But I understand the herd mentality behind it, where I'm gonna make money, and then they can go do what with it. But I don't care, right?
Yeah.
But does that make me a bad person?
Yes, it does. You're perpetuation. You're perpetuating this thing.
Yes.
This and Donald Trump.
The thing on his head. The thing on his head.
Yeah. But you do you. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't buy something like that. For the reasons that I stated.
And even though you'd sell it right away because you're not long-term in it. Yeah. Like Jabari, like there's morals. You have moral.
Yeah, but I can see that biting me in the ass, where it's like, oh, I'm not going to buy Whim Indies games. They put money into Trump stuff. Or, you know what I mean? Even if I do not like Trump, I just couldn't do it. No way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but see, I wouldn't do that for a left-leaning candidate either.
Right.
Because it goes into like they have selfish motivations to want to stay in power, and I don't want to use my money to do that.
So you raise a good concern, Grover.
Yeah.
I know you guys, Jabari, have you heard of Ice Poseidon?
No.
He's a YouTuber.
Okay,
Grover, you know who Ice Poseidon is?
No, I do not.
Okay, so he's a gay streamer, YouTuber, influencer.
Influencer
for the verbiage that Jabari used in episode 1. We recorded last week. He hired a company to develop his own cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And then he bumped it up. He hyped it. This is for us. That's
what I was worrying about last week when I was talking about the paintings where he's selling things to himself just to inflate the price.
So this is a stereotypical pump and dump, right?
Yeah.
He hyped it up, and that's what it's called. And as soon as it got to a certain value, he took out all his money and left all his subscribers holding the bag on it.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I don't know what came first, Grover, the pump and dump in dating or the pump and dump in stock.
See what? Yes.
one creates the other, and vice versa. But when it comes to something like that, where someone maliciously went in with the intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
He made, I think it was reported, about $400,000.
Wow.
On this, and then paid off the company that created the blockchain and the crypto, right? Whatever, the token value.
Yeah.
And then he still has $200,000.
Wait, hold up a minute. Okay. $200,000?
Well, he he made $400,000, so it probably cost him about $200,000 to do all that.
Well, he paid the company to do $200,000, so he kept $200,000 as profit.
Yeah. So it probably took, the software engineers and stuff, they had to make all
Jabari heard is we should be making blockchain. That's all Jabari heard.
No, we've already made our statement on it.
We said we'll make NFTs, right?
Oh, I mentioned blockchain games. I'm not going to do that.
You're right. Well, no, just a blockchain. The Whim coin.
Nope.
No.
There goes your dream, Grover. There goes your dream, Grover. Just crushed it, Jabari.
Oh, man.
Created and snuffed out just as likely. So speaking of things that are not expected, right? I didn't expect no, I did expect Grover to call me a bad person. I was kind of I set him up for that line.
You absolutely did.
Yeah, it was great. I love it.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on we don't talk about Bruno from the Disney movie Encanto being, as of this recording, right, being in the top 10 Billboard charts, of all music in America? What are your guys' thoughts? You two, as more musically inclined people, because as we've talked about on this podcast, I have no rhythm unless
the song is in Spanish.
And guess what?
It's
some of it is in Spanish.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So I watched Encanto because out of your suggestion to do it, right? And
me ugly crying. Yeah, or just normal crying.
When Paul cries, it's not ugly crying; it's just regular crying. It's just that's what it is. But with Encanto, I'm going to talk about the movie a little bit. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I thought the animation and the CGI was beautiful. I just thought it was just a beautiful movie.
A very vibrant movie.
Vibrant, colorful.
Very Colombia, very South America.
The way the rooms, everything was just great. With the CGI, the story was all over the place. The pacing was off, and blah 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 blah. But maybe I didn't grow up with Disney. My family was not a Disney family. We watched Saturday morning cartoons with superheroes beating the crap out of each other, Pokemon beating the crap out of each other, and card game masters beating the crap out of each other. I didn't really grow up with Disney. On motorcycles. No, motorcycles is after my time.
You're right.
That was college. We don't talk about college. We don't talk about college.
Oh my God.
But you know, I never really grew up. I did watch Pixar before the Disney buyout.
All hell Disney.
Yeah, and you know that, and they were all good movies and stuff. But you know, just watching a movie and then seeing them break out into a song and into a musical, I spoofed that in Celatria with Harmony singing the song "Crazy for Me" because it's supposed to be a serious moment, and that was supposed to be a spoof of that whole thing, right? That she just bursts out in song when everybody's worrying about their life and you know being attacked by the Doctrine Empire. She's just out there singing for no reason,
right?
So that was kind of a spoof of that because I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't like when the whole we don't talk about Bruno. Jabari, have you seen the movie?
I've never seen this movie, so only Bruno that I know is like there's a movie called Bruno that came out years ago, and I'm pretty sure you guys will talk about that because that was pretty nasty.
So yes,
yeah, no, that's
not that Bruno. So they have an uncle. And he's kind of ostracized from the family. And so the main characters ask like, what about Uncle Bruno? We don't talk about Bruno. And then they burst into song about how they don't talk about their ostracized uncle in the family. Mm-hmm. And I just think it is a mean-spirited song for somebody who's off limits, and they spend 3 minutes talking about him on a song to not talk about him.
Okay, so okay. Back up. Let's back up.
All right. I want to hear the analysis.
Let me reel it in, right? Because, and then I'll get Jabari's take on music movies, right?
I'm sure.
So, in me being raised in a Hispanic household, right?
Yeah. Did you break out in the song when you were about to go to school?
You have no idea. Where do I begin on how much we break out into song and dance? No, it's a disturbing number. You're laughing, but
no, you really?
No, it happens sometimes.
Oh no,
it does, but not like a full on choreographed, non secretorial moment, right? Where it's like disconnected from reality. No, it doesn't happen that way.
It's ugly dancing. No, it's just dancing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. We're ruining the last week joke, and we're ruining the ugly joke.
I am medium well at this point.
Medium well. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I like the song "We Don't Like About Bruno."
We don't talk about Bruno.
We don't like him either, because spoiler alert, his gift, his blessing, whatever you want to call it, was being able to look into the future and tell people, hey, this is going to happen. So where everyone just, from there, they automatically assume that it's because of him that these bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
He's a bad omen. He's bad juju. Whatever you want to call it, whatever your mindset is, or however you were raised, your culture, no one wants to hear bad news. No one wants
me.
No, you want the bad news first.
I want the bad news first.
and I think because no one wants to hear the bad things, they call it FUD. Fear, uncertainty,
fake
doubt,
news,
fake news. That's why people retreat to those echo chambers.
Yeah.
You see how I built these topics?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I totally meant to do that.
And these positive echo chambers perpetuated by the old abuela. Is that
so without spoiling it for Jabari and the listener.
Oh yeah.
The climax of the movie is grandma realizing a lot of these things. And maybe next episode when we record next week or whenever we record next, we can do a more in-depth analysis when Jabari has the time to watch Encanto at 2 a.m. Or whatever time it is. Love you, Jabari. But the fact is, in the song, there is a part where you change perspectives, right? The song is initially sung by the main character's aunt and uncle, and then transitions to her cousin, whose gift is super hearing. And the song's tone changes. And hearing the person who wrote the song, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who the listener might know from Hamilton, he wrote a lot of songs, there is a shift, like music composition, like it shifts time signatures. and it becomes a very like you're tiptoeing by the secret.
Yeah.
And being from a Hispanic family, there are things you don't talk about.
Yeah.
You don't talk about Bruno. You don't talk about so-and-so's indiscretion. And no, you don't talk about how this cousin isn't going to do this and how they didn't.
Or they don't look like their parents or something.
Or they're born out of wedlock. Or, or they're just things.
I'll tell you I was.
That's a different story for a different day.
Oh my God.
The fact of the matter is that in Hispanic culture, we don't talk about things in public.
Yeah.
But as soon as we're behind closed doors and it's just the family.
Yeah.
Shoot, that in kind of like the last week when we recorded last week, I said how I'm being accepted by the men in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
As one of them because I now have a large truck.
Yeah.
When you get to a certain age in my family, I don't know how it goes for other Hispanic families, but it's like you are welcome. Like as you get older, the more secrets you're let in on.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you're old enough to know. Like, yeah, I can tell you. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there like, the mouth gasp, like what? Who? Yeah, exactly. Like, sí, mijo. Yeah, totalmente. And I'm like, oh dear God, what happened? He did what?
Madre de Dios.
No. El opuesto, the opposite, mijo.
Oh yeah.
So
they were looking.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. So I familiarize, right? Like my experience being Hispanic, I can relate to the song and my experience, right? And that's kind of why I was so emotional during Coco. I can relate to it to a point and degree, right? But Jabari, you as someone who's produced music, you as someone who has released music, how do you feel about a Disney song reaching number 1 on the Billboard chart?
I don't feel anything about it. I mean, it happens. I think right here on your notes, Let It Go, right? That was huge. And you said it right here that it reached number 5. I thought it reached number 1 at some point.
Yeah, you read the read the pre-pod notes. I'm so proud.
I thought that was like the top song for like a whole month or something like that. But I mean, shoot, even if it's a Disney song, like it's still a song, so people are gonna like it. It's not a pop song or anything like that, but whatever has good rhythm into it and people like it, it'll hit up there.
And that's what it is. It's got really good rhythm to it, and it really
did it go.
And then
did it hit the charts or something like that, or
it went number 1.
The Bruno one.
Bruno one.
Are you serious? I never heard of this song too. I haven't heard it.
Yeah, that's why I watched Encanto. It outpaced even Frozen. So.
Well, here, as I noted, Let It Go reached number 5 on the charts. And before that, we go all the way back to 95 when we were still babies. And Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas barely made it into the top 10.
Yeah. So,
we have all these other movies going on, all these other good Disney movies, right? And this is only the 3rd Disney song to make it into the Billboard. But in fact, now topping it, right? So
and only after they went on Disney Plus too. Right. When it was in theaters, nobody gave a crap.
So exactly, right? Yeah. Which comes the conversation to: are movie theaters still going to be something viable?
Only as long as the big movie studios allow it to be, right? My dad won't go into the movie theater at all. We usually watch Marvel movies together, right? Because he's the biggest superhero fan I know. And he just won't step into a movie theater because of COVID, right?
But if it wasn't for COVID, would you go in live in person?
Yeah.
Well, he would go to the movie theater in person?
Yeah, if the pandemic wasn't a thing.
Got it.
But he just says, I'll just wait for it to get on Disney Plus and stuff, right? Or whatever. So we watched The Eternals at about a 3-month delay. But I
nothing lost.
I didn't want I knew I was going to be spoiled about Spider-Man sooner or later. I'm not going to spoil it in this podcast, but I knew I was going to be spoiled about it if I didn't go see it. because of all the things that happened in that movie. So I wanted to get that out of the way before it was. And luckily 2 days after, I would have gotten accidentally spoiled on it by the headlines I was seeing. Next to the Amaranth one, it was the Spider-Man spoilers.
Got it.
Right up there.
Yeah.
Amaranth is just at the top.
Yeah, Amaranth's at the top, then Spider-Man spoilers at the lower.
Oh my.
Clearly, my newsfeed knows what I want. So,
well, like my newsfeed is so confused about me. Like it thinks, as in his 30s male, it thinks I want Amaranth. I want dating apps and booze.
My friend, she doesn't eat red meat, and so I was helping her with computer problems, and she was screen sharing, and she had her Twitter feed, and I made a comment on it. I said, "Why do you have an Outback Steakhouse ad when you don't eat red meat? That doesn't make any sense to me."
It's the algorithm.
And then I was telling her, our other friend, our mutual friend, doesn't drink. He doesn't go on social media at all, and yet he has all these alcohol advertisements. So
targeted ads.
The
algorithm knows all. So just to go off of like popular songs and movies, right? So I'm thinking Danger Zone and Top Gun, right? These were songs created specifically for those movies, right? Circle of Life and Lion King.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Spider-Man, Sunflower by for Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yes.
Really good. If you think about it, when you hear these songs, you think this movie, right? These movies. And then even for bonus points, right? Fortunate Son for every Vietnam War movie.
Down. Our friend Gino, he does a really good impression of that song.
Mm-hmm. He does.
Yeah. When
Gino wants to, and if you're listening, Gino, shouts out to you. When he wants to make a good impression, he does a great one.
Yeah, he does.
He does a very good stew scream, like making Angelica making pudding.
Yeah.
But he makes a horrible Grover impression.
He makes me sound like Tristan Taylor from Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series.
That's exactly like playing. Wait a minute.
That's exactly what Grover is. Jabari beat me to it.
That's spot on.
So
perfect. 10 out of 10.
I mean, that's what the listeners should rate us on our wherever they listen to podcasts, right?
There you go. Yeah.
But here, let's not talk about Bruno, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about him. Is that going to be just, going to be on the charts for as long as Encanto is like in the rhetoric? Or is it going to come up to the status of these songs? Circle of Life, Danger Zone. What do you guys think?
I would love Crazy for Me to be on the top 10 on the Billboard charts for Solitaire. So if you play through chapter 3, listen to that song, make a little music video of it.
We can do that. Don't tempt me with a good time. We can make that happen.
There you go. Yeah. No,
and it'll be Chris Nuno in a wig.
Oh no!
No. So our composer Chris Nuno, he did a recording of the song, singing it like how the singer should sing it for direction.
Yeah.
Ow.
We had that somewhere.
No, it's in the game files. So if you ever go through the Solitaire game files, you'll see it.
Oh man!
So look through the audio files. Have fun. That's a challenge. If you go through it.
Good luck.
No, you'll find it. People want to find it, they'll find it. I'm definitely not going
I'm envisioning a music video like
because people make mods of it,
and then at the end of the music video, like the post-credit scene is that Nuno.
Yeah, exactly. Having Nuno dance and do it. Maybe.
So what do you think, Grover? Is this going to be like ranked up there with Remembering Danger Zone, right? It's Top Gun. It's Tom Cruise before he went crazy. I mean, it was always crazy.
Yeah. Once something hits the billboard, it's gonna be, kids are gonna be singing it and annoying their parents for the we don't talk about Bruno, and then they actually have family secrets let me tell you a little bit about your
your Uncle Bruno.
It's like, oh no, Madre de Dios.
So Jabari, what are your thoughts on that? Is it going to be this everlasting? It's in the ethos, whatever it's called, right? The zeitgeist, right? Not talk about Bruno being a Disney movie reaching number 1.
I feel like just because it's a Disney movie, it's probably going to be like it's going to be in like permanently within one of the tops of Disney music. So a lot of people are going to be continuing to sing it years and years from now. But how long does the Billboard like update there? Is it every week? Like their top 100
it's
or
once
something
a
like
week.
that? Or is it every month?
Tomorrow. It's what's his face? Ryan Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest doing his best what's it called? What's the guy who do the top 10? Casey Kasem.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Seacrest. I almost said nuisance. Ryan Seacrest is the modern day Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
So yeah, Jabbar, what are your thoughts on that?
The song, right? Being up there. I mean, it's gonna fall off pretty soon, but I still haven't heard it. It could be, if it's number 1 on the chart right now, that means that either not a lot of people are turning out music, but I think there is a lot of people turning on music. Like Doja Cat has been hitting the charts. Like I think I read something about her being on the charts for the last 6 months or so, and she was the first. She made history being the first woman being on there constantly for this long. And
with Doja Cat, if correct me if I'm wrong, but she's like genre mixing, right? So she brings, like, I heard these 80 vibes in the 90s and kind of meshing all these soundtracks, which is kind of what, like, the fashion of today, right? A lot of things my mom keeps telling me things are coming back. We used to have that back in the day, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, everything's
cyclical.
Yeah,
everything's cyclical.
Yeah,
So I think I think you're right about, but Bruno. What about Bruno? We don't talk about him. Has usurped Adele, and her return to the top spot in the Billboard chart.
Yeah, she could have had it all, but didn't work.
Didn't work out. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should go easy on her.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna come and go. I haven't heard the song, so it could. If it's up there, I feel like it's probably really catchy, but it will disappear soon. And
so how about this, Jabari? For next time we record next week, go ahead and watch Encanto, and then maybe the last 15-20 minutes we'll do like a spoiler cast.
I don't have Disney Plus anymore though. I guess I have to go buy it.
We can make that happen. We can make that happen. Don't ask me how.
Yeah, or we can just rent it on YouTube. Or something.
Yeah, we can make it happen for $2. Yeah. Giggity. So something else you listener can make happen for less than $2 is go ahead and rate our podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts. Go ahead and rate us. Whatever you're feeling. I prefer you to rate us 5 stars, but if you feel like rating us 4.3 out of 3 stars, go ahead.
7.8 out of 10. Too much water.
Too much Grover.
Too much cough. Too much crying.
Too much regular crying.
Too much regular crying.
But yeah,
I wanted to say an aside because we mentioned the joke a lot about recording last week, right? Craig Ferguson is my favorite late night host, right? Mm-hmm. They would record multiple shows in a day, just like we recorded multiple podcasts in a day.
No, I thought we recorded last week.
There we go. But he would come out for a second episode of the day with the same audience. It's like, wow, you guys look like the same audience as yesterday. And he would just run that joke into the ground, and I would be laughing my ass off at 1 a.m. It was great.
So normal.
The late show with Craig Ferguson. Yeah, that's also where I got my and just like the other the bait and switch humor. So. Yeah. So shout out to Craig Ferguson if you're listening.
If you are, we'd like to have you as a guest
you have a very low bar, but
Hey, Drew Carey show. Everyone's gonna start somewhere.
Building off what Paul said, follow us on Whim Indie. Wishlist our games, Solitary and Spellbearers on Steam. And thank you so much for your support. And I hope to have some more updates for our games in the coming weeks for sure.
Absolutely. Jabari, any parting words from K-pop land?
Oh man, this whole podcast I've been just looking at. You guys started me on something. I've been going on Instagram, looking at these Instagram models. This is pretty late. This pretty Korean girl. I'm like, and she's not anything naughty or anything like that, but she's cute. So give us
and with that
100 and 5-star ratings, and I'll show you guys which ones
Jabari
I've been looking at.
So Jabari can pay for his ASMR.
I got it. Jabari can do ASMR.
Oh no!
Sold. Someone will buy it. Someone will buy it.
We need a Whim Indie 18+ brand. That's what you're telling me. My philosophy is I can't do anything that I can't show my grandpa. And the last thing I think my grandpa would want to see is Jabari doing ASMR on my computer.
Oh man, this girl was in shorts doing this, licking this microphone thing.
Well, he might want to see that, but I don't think he's gonna want to see Jabari.
Grandpa would love to
do
see
the
same. A pretty young Korean girl in short shorts. I can almost assure you of that. I've been Paul.
I'm Grover.
And I'm Jabari.
The fourth.
Oh. I'm Jabari.
The first.
The first. And last.
The one and the only.
Thankfully. Thank God. And this has been the On a Whim podcast.
Okay.
Y'all keep it nerdy.
Woo!